Hi everyone, it's Lara. Thank you so much for watching. I am here today with another DIY project, and today it is going to be again an upcycling project. I have decided to restyle one of my classical blouses. I think having a white blouse in your wardrobe is definitely a good thing, but I had this one for a few years and I felt like I don't want to wear this blouse anymore, and I wanted to make something completely different of it, something in a little bit different style. So as you can see, I'm wearing the finished blouse now, so it is more a romantic piece. So if you want to know how to make such a lovely romantic piece of a classical blouse, then please keep watching. First, I folded my blouse so that the front middle and the back middle are on the sides. I made sure that everything is aligned nicely, and I have pinned the parts together. Once everything was nice and flat, I started tracing out the shape of my new neckline. I put few more pins in the blouse so that everything would stay in place, and then I started cutting the new neckline. This is how my new neckline looked like. As a next step, I took two longer pieces of lace and I started pinning it along the button border. The end of the blouse, I have folded the lace inwards and then I pinned it in place. As a next step, I have sewn the lace on with a regular straight stitch. Once I was done with this step, I started pinning the lace also around the neckline. This time I folded the end upwards and I pinned everything in place. Then I have sewn the lace on with a regular straight stitch. I made sure that I was sewing about in the middle of the lace. Next, I changed the settings of my sewing machine to a zigzag. I made sure that the zigzag was a little bit wider but denser, and then I hemmed the neckline with it. Once I was done with that step, I have folded the lace around the neckline inwards and I have sewn it in place with a regular straight stitch. Just to make sure that the end of the lace wouldn't fray out with the time, I stitched it in place. This is something I always do because it makes sure that your piece will always stay pretty no matter how often you wash it. As a next step, I have stitched at the end of the button border one little plastic snap. You don't necessarily need a plastic snap at the end of the border. It depends on how big is the distance from the last buttonhole, but I felt that this will work better so that the neckline will always stay nice. Now I will show you how I made the sleeves. So the first step was to cut the sleeves back to the length that I thought would look pretty for the puffy sleeves variation. Once I cut the sleeves back, I turned the blouse to the bedside and I started cutting away the zigzag around the seam where the sleeves were sewn on. Once the edging was removed, I could easily open the stitches around the sleeves so that I could detach them from the blouse. When both of the sleeves were detached, I took one and used it as a pattern for my new sleeves. First I cut it in the middle and then I have also marked where the front of the sleeve was. And now I could use my old sleeve with the distance between the halves as a pattern for my puffy sleeves. I marked the fronts and the top middle on both sleeves, and then I simply removed the old sleeve that served me as a pattern. And as a next step, I started pinning lace on the bottom part of my sleeves. here is what it looked like once the lace was pinned on both sleeves. And then I had to sew the lace on with a regular straight stitch a little bit further from the edge because I wanted to have a tunnel for an elastic. In order to create a tunnel, once the lace has been sewn on, I folded it inwards and then I have sewn through a little bit further from the edge with a regular straight stitch, and this is what created the tunnel. If you want to know how big the tunnel is supposed to be, just make sure that your safety pin and your elastic fits in, and this is the width you want. As a next step, I have attached the small safety pin to one end of the elastic. I measured the elastic on my upper arm, so I made sure that it wouldn't be too tight, and then I threaded it through the tunnel at the end of my sleeves. Once the elastic was threaded through the tunnel, I put together both ends of the sleeve and I pinned them in place. Next, I have sewn the ends together with a regular straight stitch, and I also hemmed it with a zigzag, and once that was done, the sleeve looked like this. I have also folded the excess fabric to one side and I have sewn once again through with a straight stitch because I thought it looked better. Now, once I finished those steps on both sleeves, I went back to my sewing machine and I have sewn through the upper half of the sleeves with a regular straight stitch that was very wide so that I could ruffle the round part of the sleeves. Once I have sewn through the upper half of the sleeves with a loose stitch, I simply pulled at one end of the thread, which created this ruffled part. I always pull the thread so far that I achieve an estimated width, and later I can loosen it or pull it a little bit tighter according to whatever I need so that the sleeves would fit into the armholes on my blouse. Then I started pinning the sleeves into the armholes. I made sure that I have always the right sleeve on the right side. For that, the marking on the front part of the sleeve is very useful. Once both sleeves were pinned in, I have sewn them on with a regular straight stitch and I made the edging with a dense zigzag. And that was the last step and my blouse was finished. I'm super happy with how the blouse turned out. So it is still a nice classical piece. White blouse is always great to have in your wardrobe, but now it has more of a romantic touch, but you could still pair it with some classical pieces like business pants and a blazer. It would still look great, but I really like this romantic touch that it has right now. I like it so much that I have decided I'm going to be wearing this blouse for this year's Valentine's dinner together with this choker that I made last week. I'm wearing it today with this cognac colored faux leather band, which I bought in our local sewing supplies store. So this is gonna be my Valentine's outfit together with blue jeans and boots. Yeah, so this is it for today. If you missed, by the way, the video with my denim chokers, then I will link it down below. You will find in the description box also several other videos that I think might be interesting for you. There's also a link to my Instagram account. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumb up. You can also subscribe to my channel if you didn't yet, so that way you will not miss any of my future DIY projects. And don't forget to hit the little bell so that you get notifications whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful day, and since Valentine's is around the corner, happy Valentine, and see you next week. Bye!